race fans? Welcome to the UCRL Ultimate Conquest Racing League. I am Carl Handler, joined in the booth, as always, by Jimmy Covert. This is CRN. I'd like to thank everybody that's been joining us lately and everybody that's out here tonight. Should be a good one here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun out here. I took their setup out of the track. I had a chance to run a few laps of what they're actually running tonight. The truck is, to me, loose, and you're going to see it coming out of the corners out of 2 and 4. But right now, as you can see, these guys are trying to put in their qualification laps right now, and just getting a little bit loose coming off the corners, saving it right now. But right now, Christopher on top of the 31.3, so these guys are going to have their hands full with this truck, but it's going to be fast, and I think we're going to have some seriously good racing here tonight.
Yeah, this track has been put down and made this thing just absolutely wicked fast. We're not running that one tonight, though, Jimmy. We are running on the older Atlanta here, so a little bit more bumpy, a little bit more technical, a little bit more chewing up those tires. So, you know, kind of give me a little bit of a difference between the old track and the new track.
Well, the difference to me is, well, the old track, obviously, it's bumpy, and you have to be a little easier going in and out around the corners, where the new track is real smooth, the surface is great, and you can pretty much just floor it. It's like a mini Daytona, Carl. Right now, these guys are continuing to play down some qualification laps. Grady Gherkin with a 31.0. Putting him in the second place currently, with Kyle Bartles on top at 31.070. So it looks like Carl is.
Yeah, back up here in the booth.
There he is, as he was going down talking to some of our. The guys down in the league, but Kyle Bartles on top with Grady Gherkin in second. Eric Jeffers pulling in the third right now with a 31.113. Chris Richard in fourth. Andrew Ratcliffe in fifth with a 31.139. Christopher in sixth. Travis Bennett in seventh. Matthew Greathouse in eighth. Justin Kirby in ninth. And Mr. Peter Parker, or Borzuchek, in 10th.
Yeah, so while these guys are finishing them on qualifying, got about a minute and a half left of that. We'll go ahead and pull in our points leader so far this season, doing a pretty good job to start off this season and setting himself up pretty nicely right now, sitting up there towards the top in sixth place right now in the qualifying standings. Ran third fastest in practice. Christopher, driver of the number 25. So Chris, I mean, it looks like you got some pretty good speed there in the 25 machine. How do you think this thing's handling out there?
Well, the setup a little bit loose, more on the loose side, I guess you could say. It'd be interesting these first few laps after we go green, if we can keep it clean and get some laps under us. I think it'll turn into be a good race. So hopefully we can keep our nose clean if anything does happen.
So you think this thing is going to be more survival of the fittest and just kind of avoiding the guys that are having some issues with the setups and getting it home? Or do you think it's going to be one that may stretch out and it's going to be really trying to save those right side tires?
Again, I think if we can make it through the first few laps and start to get strong now, and once this tire wear starts to, if we get long enough runs where the tire wear starts to creep in, then yeah, it's going to get may go green from there. But it's anything can happen, so it's hard saying.
All right, well, before we let you get back in the truck, we'll give you a little time if you want to send any shout outs, any thanks to anybody before we let you go.
Thanks to my team, being there tonight, and wife and kids. Hope you're watching. And other than that, thank you for broadcasting this.
All right, well, we're looking forward to the good show out there. We'll let you get back in the truck, and if we get a chance to talk to you during the race under a caution, we'll do that. If not, maybe we'll talk to you after the race in the top 3.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right, that was looks like our 7th place starter here tonight. The points leader coming in, Christopher. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of the qualifying results?
Yeah, our rundown for tonight will be Brent Kirby on pole with Kyle Bartles in second, Grady Gherkin in third, Eric Jeffers in fourth, Chris Richard in 5th, Andrew Ratcliffe in 6th, Christopher in 7th, Travis Bennett in 8th, Matthew Greathouse in 9th, Justin Kirby 10th, Peter Korzuchek in 11th, Joe Hurd in 12th, and our next group of guys back here, come on, hit this button, be Jerry West in 13th, Jake Lesh in 14th, Tim Glass in 15th, Scott Bolster in 16th, Felipe Ramos in 17th, Matt Foster 18th, 19th is John Williams, 20 Jeremy Little, 21 Tony Japs, 22 Jasper Crawford, 23 Christopher Spencer, 24 Robert Colgan, and then back there in 19th is John Williams, Jeremy Little's in 20th. I repeat myself because it didn't move a whole page here, but Christopher Spencer's in 23rd, Robert Colgan's in 24th, TJ DeBlassie's in 25th, Calvin Gnomes in back in 26th, 27th is Riley Bird, 28th Mark Lewis, 29th Tyler Letchworth. So 29 guys here at Atlanta with these loose trucks. These guys are gonna have a lot of fun tonight, and we'll see. I'm sure we're gonna see an accident if they can't keep the truck underneath them, but if they let this truck kind of settle out underneath them, we're gonna see some fast-paced racing and about 31 seconds left.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. 117 laps on tap here tonight, and if these things do get strung out, it's going to be real interesting to see how these pit strategies play out and see if the chance to red lights maybe feel lightly on the late pit stop. But we are 29 strong, as Jimmy said. Before we get going here, we got to look at the point standings here in a second and show you how everything has been looking so far, and it's been it's been interesting. It's only been a few races to this point, a couple races right now, but you're starting to see some of the guys start to kind of string together a couple good starts, a couple good finishes, and you see some of the guys that are at the top of the points out there right now. As we talk to our in-race reporter, Christopher, who is at the top of the point standings by 25 over Eric Jeffers. Jeffers starting in 4th place here tonight, and then Scott Bolster in 3rd place there, only 35 points back. He's back there in 15th. So some of these guys are on top of the standings, starting towards the top of the field right here. Pace truck lights are out. We're going to be going green. 117 laps here around Atlanta Motor Speedway. The old version, not the new one. So this thing is going to try and chew these drivers up, chew these tires up, and the setup will certainly help to do that as well. But Barney is waving that flag. We are green flag racing at Atlanta. Good start there by the 95 of Brent Kirby as these guys dive down into turn 1. Everybody just trying to look and find a nice, comfortable spot here through the first couple corners for sure. And already loose truck to 48, loose in front of the field onto the backstretch, and that is going to collect a couple trucks as they come sliding back up onto the track, trying to hold it. That was a scary moment there, and unfortunately collecting one of Jimmy's favorite drivers there. Spider-Man could not avoid that one as Borzuchek gets caught up by the spinning at 48 of Andrew Ratcliffe. So some early trouble here. Didn't look like too bad a contact from any of those, but that, well, maybe not so much. At the back of that 52 looks a little bit jacked up there.
They'll get it down to pits. He was able to keep it off the wall. Obviously, you don't want too much aero damage here, and did a great job of saving it and not going back up on the track. And looks like the 37 was able to miss him as he's got them wheels slid up. Still trying to control that car here. Peter definitely off for a ride here as everybody's trying to avoid him, but I'm sure they'll bring that truck back in, get some repairs done, and bring it back out and continue this race. But yeah, interesting race. It's going to be like this for a while, and the track is the setup is loose. And you can see there the 48, just a little bit too much gas in the rear end coming around. So, but right now out front, Brent Kirby leading the way over Greedy Gherkin. Then Kyle Barles in 3rd, Eric Jefferson 4th, Chris Richard in 5th, Travis Bennett in 6th, Christopher in 7th, Matthew Greathouse in 8th, Jerry West in 9th, and Joe Hurd rounding the top 10. These guys their first caution here on lap 2.
Yeah, I think while we got a moment, if we get a chance, we should take a look at that incident there again from the point of view of the 32 truck there of Matt Foster, because he certainly had just no better way of saying it. He had a brown pants moment on that, as he's seen the 52 was down low, and then all of a sudden just sliding it right up in front of him. So we'll try and take you on board now on the 32 of Matt Foster, and just give you a look at what it is coming out of the corner here at Atlanta, and you see he's on the top line at this point right now, but he's going to see some incidents happening up in front of him. You see up there towards the top of your screen, the 48 already getting out of shape, getting up into the wall. As he starts to come down, the 52 of Porzuchek tries to cut down. You see a couple guys trying to cut down and get down on that apron as quick as possible, but big moment right there. And actually might be the 57 that, no, it's yeah, as the 52 starts coming up right now, but it might be actually the 37, not the 32 that had the brown pants moment as we jump on board there. And you see that's not what you want to see from the front of your truck, and how he missed the 52 there.
That was,
I mean,
good.
Forget tape on the front end. You need some Vaseline on the front end to slide through that right there.
Yeah, I mean, he just was able to basically just use a little bit of geometry as that truck was just slip in front of him. So, I mean, Peter just happened to be sliding that way, and the 37 was able to go down on the low side. These guys are on lap 4 now, following the pace car around here. Just getting ready to go back to green here. So Brett Kirby out front, lights are off on the pace car as we're ready to go back green.
Yeah, so that was again, that was a 37 of Felipe Ramos. So maybe a new change of shorts for him as well. I mean, I know they say when you see somebody wrecking in front of you, the best place to do is just hold your line, and they'll find a way to just kind of slide out of the way. But he had to make some evasive maneuvers there at the end, but made it through, and not too many people involved in there after it all, and it could have been a lot worse. But his truck is off, and Kirby is back on the loud pedal, back racing here at Atlanta. Another good start by the 95, the 46 of Gherkin. Seen a lot of him the last couple weeks here, and he is up there into second. Nice launch by him as well. The 76 of Bartle's going to settle into third as they will battle side by side. Bouchard and Jeffers back there for fourth. The 6 of Bennett trying to stick his nose in there as well. Maybe getting in the wall a little bit there, coming off of 2.
I mean, just a little bit, nothing to kind of check up here. Is these guys they're too wide back here.
Atlanta, one of those tracks, maybe not so much like Charlotte's, designed the same way, D-shaped oval. Turn 1, you definitely want to get down towards the bottom, but not as much as Charlotte. Charlotte has that little bit of patch that's about, tire width wide on the bottom, that if you get it, you have unbelievable grip, and you can just hug right around that line. But Atlanta, not the same. You kind of want to almost give a little bit of room, because if you get to that white line, there's not much room between that white line and the apron. Like, that is pretty much the edge of no return. You touch that apron, and your back end's going to find the front end real quick.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast. They come down, almost came down into each other as the 32 almost got inside the 55. As the 55 goes around to the 18 to the inside of 1, 2. A little bit pull from in there as they go down the back stretch.
Hey, Jeremy Little, our Immer supporter from last week, and doing a pretty good job starting to move his way through the field here tonight. Starting back there in 20th, so already up 4 positions. So good job there, good start. Matthew Greathouse, take a look at him, and he's just kind of he's been steady. It seems for the couple races so far this season, and steady here in the race, starting in 9th and up to 8th right now. Just trying to get my overlays back up here as they're just like disappearing on me. Started 8th and is in 8th right now, but out front it is still the 95 of Brent Kirby in first place, Grady Gherkin in second, Bartles, Jeffers, and Stouffer round out your top 5 with Bennett, Bouchard, Greathouse, Kirby, and Hurd your top 10.
And these guys up front are doing a real good job. Just single file right now. There's a lot of laps to go here as they got 117 laps here. They're currently on they're working on lap 9. I almost said 19. Well, giving them a little bit of a boost here, but these guys are just doing a good job. Just kind of maintain single file, get around the track, let some of these these laps just tick on by, but these first 7 cars are starting to pull away a little bit from the field. Even though you got the 25 here going to the looking to the high side of the 4. So Stouffer trying to go around the outside of Jeffers.
And those a couple of teammates right there from Full Throttle Motorsports. And worth mentioning, these guys at Full Throttle, they're in the top of the points for the team standings, top of the points for the individual standings, as well as Stouffer and Jeffers, both a part of Full Throttle Motorsports, as is Anthony Japs and Travis Bennett. So these guys doing a good job starting off the season for themselves and for the team itself, as again Stouffer top of the boards, Jeffers in second place. Just trying to look down here, looks like Bennett is in 7th place and Japs down there in 19th. So good start for the season for these guys, and these guys looking pretty good. Here's a 25 of Stouffer. Maybe a little broadcaster curse there, gets up into the wall a little bit, does save it. Keeps it for the most part shiny on that the outside there. A little bit of a scrape in the backside there, but that thing is still shining nicely. So we'll see if that hurts his handling at all. But something you definitely don't want to do here. Not even a tenth of the way through this race.
It's like I said, the truck setup was really loose from the get-go, and I'm sure the truck will just get better as the fuel burns off and the tires start going away, and the truck actually, tightens up on you as the run goes on. So it's just going to be fast all around. It's just your first initial laps on fresh tires. The rear end is real touchy here, but Brett Kirby doing a great job so far. Only got a 0.2 second lead over Grady. And then Kyle Bartles looking to the inside of Grady right now.
Yeah, battle for second place is heating up for sure. But yeah, Atlanta, for the most part with the trucks, but even with other vehicles, it's one of those tracks where, just like Texas, shaped the same way, it likes to eat up that front right tire. And if you have a setup that is towards the tight side, it's going to be just hell coming off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. Atlanta tends to be a little loose coming off of turn 2, no matter what the setup is. It wants to just kind of upset the back end a little bit coming out of 2. So I imagine with a loose setup to begin with, as you see the 7 back there into the wall, it's going to be just really treacherous coming off of turn 2. But as Jimmy said, as the tires start to wear in a little bit, as that right front starts to wear off a little bit, it should help make that car or truck for that matter want to push and kind of even out the setup a little bit. But gonna have to deal with it for the first 15, 20, maybe even 25 laps before it starts to finally feel a little bit more balanced. But yeah, these guys clearly, the ones up front like this loose setup, and they are flying out there.
Yeah, the guys out front, they're running too wide here. They're 15 laps in. These tires are warming up. These guys are just getting into the groove now. The truck's kind of settled in. They're probably feeling pretty, great. Doesn't probably doesn't feel as loose anymore. These guys are looking about 49 to 53 laps, per tank of fuel. So they got to feel a few green flag pit stops if they continue to green here. And right now, challenge for the lead here as the 76 of Kyle Bartles is looking to the underside of Brett Kirby.
Yeah, first time we had a lead change, didn't complete the lap, so it's still going to be Kirby leading every lap here so far. But that 76 of Bartles is all over the backside of Kirby, and he's not the only one. The 46, 28, 4, all up there, throw a blanket over the top 5 right now, and not too far behind the 25, trying to make his way back up there after that early scuff with the wall. But battle now for second as Bartles gets shuffled back just a little bit, as now they are side by side once again. The 46 of Gherkin takes it on the high side, and it looked like the 76 tried to move up there, but the door was already closed, as now he's going to battle for third place with the 28 of Bouchard.
Bouchard just kind of playing it safe back there, letting these guys kind of battle out, pick this line, and let's see if he gets that run. I'm sure he'll take it, but right now we're trying to see if these guys are even any kind of strategy with fuel, a little bit of drafting here that can go on in Atlanta. Obviously the tire saving issue, are these guys beating on these tires so hard? Can they take a 2-tire stop? Do they have to go 4-tire stop? I mean, 15 seconds for a fuel stop, so and that's 4 tires and full fuel. So more than likely these guys will just take tires when they come in for fuel.
Yeah, especially if they got to top off from being almost empty. But it's worth noting some of the guys getting caught up in that first incident there. You know, for the most part, they're towards the back as the 5 is towards the back. The 52 there of Peter Przuchek towards the back, and then some issues for Tyler Letchworth as he is off pace a little bit and not too far in front of the leaders right now, the number 11. But the one to take a look at is that 48, the machine for Andrew Radcliffe, as he was the one that kind of started that incident right there, getting a little loose off a 2. Had to obviously come in, get some repairs done, started towards the back of the pack. One of only 4 drivers that came in the pits under that caution, already up to 14th place. So he marched through this field, and he's showing that he's going to fast Lowe's machine, trying to work his way back to the front, and now he's got maybe a feel for this truck a little bit, and maybe the little bit of clean air right here is helping that truck drive better.
Yeah, I think when he got loose there and obviously caused the incident, you know, it just got a little bit too much gas. So maybe he finally found out that sweet spot, and you know, obviously he did, because he's just making his way up to the field here at a pretty good clip. So it won't be too long. I'd say keep an eye on him for the rest of the race, and as long as he's able to keep it clean and out of trouble, we might find him in the top 5 or even in the top 3.
Yeah, more often than not, it's not necessarily, you know, when you get back on the gas, because, you know, here is not a track that you're going to be holding it flat out. Maybe on the newer Atlanta, you can hold it a little more flat out and make it around the corners, but here you're definitely lifting a little bit and even dragging the brake. Us getting a little close there, as the 37's already having a little too many close calls here, probably for his comfort, but everybody sneaks away from that. But yeah, I mean, it's a track where you're going to be maybe dragging the brake a little bit. At the very least, you're getting off the gas, and it's not when you're getting back on the gas, but you know how you're getting back on the gas. You know, it's some guys like to slowly, you know, bring the gas back on to get to full power. Some guys like to kind of, you know, work the throttle a little bit, and they feel that helps, you know, kind of upset the back end a little bit to actually kind of help it drive through the corner, get a little bit more turn and rotation coming out of the corner. So it's, you know, it comes down to driving style, but either way, you have to make sure that truck is underneath you at all times. Has not so much back there for the 57 machine of Williams Sr., as he gets a little bit dancy coming off a 2. Does a good job of saving it though, and right back in line, trying to go to work on that 7, who's starting to stretch out a little bit, of Jake Loesch.
Yeah, you can still tell these cars are just a little bit loose as, you know, these guys continue to work that throttle like you talked about. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people have a bad habit, you know, it's not easy. You know, and it looks like Peter is down low back here, close to the inside fence, as he got loose coming out of a 2 there. Back up on the track, got the truck back underneath him, so he continues to make his way around here. But yeah, these guys having a hard time adjusting their throttle control. You know, you can't just press on the gas and lift off. So, or known as light switching, or the back end will really get out from underneath you, and you'll really burn up them tires as well. So there's a fine line to learning and how to use the throttle here, and these guys are doing a pretty good job of getting around here right now, as we are on lap 25 of 117.
Yes, we were just looking on board there of the 79 of Robert Flava Flav Colgan back there doing a good job. He's up 9 positions already from the start. Started back there in 24th. Up a little bit further from him is in 13th place, the 78 of TJ de Blasi, and he is up 12 positions, started way back there in 25th position, so he's made some nice early work here. Up in 10th place right now, top 10 already, is that 55 we've seen a little bit earlier. Talked to him obviously last week. Jeremy Little up 10 spots, starting in 20th position. He is already up there at the front in the top 10, so good starts for some of these guys. Maybe not so much for some of the other ones, like my man from last week, Tim Glass, back there in the 18. He's down 9 positions, and then Peter Przuchek, we talked about getting involved in that early wreck. And it looks like he didn't get the repairs done, didn't use his fast repair. These guys got one fast repair that they can use for those, you know, not up to the iRacing lingo. Basically, they can come in here if they have that fast repair checked. No matter what damage is on the truck, internal, external, whatever it is, it will essentially be fixed, you know, in an instant. But you see the back right of that 52 truck still a little bit caved in, still a little bit worse for wear. So just kind of limping around right now, just trying to run this thing out. Still staying in touch with the back of the pack, but maybe wanting to just kind of hold that fast repair in tow just in case something happens later in the race here. But new leader out front is Kyle Bartles. We didn't talk about it yet, but he did make the pass eventually on Brent Kirby. So the 76 now finds his way out front, and that is the 95. That is the one that has to do the chasing. So we'll see how this pans out. See how that 95 handles the dirty air for a change.
And back here's the pass for the 76 on the 95, as it looks like he used the high side there, Carl.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that we talked about before the race. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to kind of tackle these corners here. I mean, ultimately, usually you want to be on the bottom, but you can certainly run the middle to top line, especially later in the runs. You'll see some of the guys start to migrate towards the top. You already see it right now. Some of the guys running the middle lane, and it just a lot of times the truck just feels more comfortable, especially later in the run. Not too comfortable there for the 95 of Brent Kirby coming off the corner, though.
No, just another one of them incidents. Just getting a little loose. Obviously plenty of room down at inside, and for him to collect that truck, and there was nobody down there, but come back up in front of Chris Bouchard as he's looking to take that P2 away from Brent Kirby. As Kyle Bartles continues to lead this group here. Chris Bouchard is going to take the second, Brent Kirby in third, Eric Jeffers in fourth, Grady Gherkin in fifth, Christopher in sixth, Jeremy Little in seventh, Matthew Grayhouse back in eighth, Jerry West in ninth, and Justin Kirby running out your top 10. The Kirby brothers both in the top 10 right now. Is Brent is in third, and Justin is back here in 10th, leading basically, essentially, I guess, the third little pack back here.
Yeah, and we do have a yellow. Looks like we have a little issue on the backstretch. Just happened to kind of glance over there. Looks like a few trucks are involved, including the 99 of Burr. The 37 gets out of the first incident barely, but unfortunately looks like he gets a little sideways there, and the 99 just really nowhere to go, and looks like, not sure who that was coming in there at the end, nowhere to go as well. So a few trucks getting involved in this one. We'll take it back a little bit here and see it again, but that is the 99 right there of Riley Burr. And you see the 37 in front of him, just no time to kind of react at that point, and gets into the side of him and starts a little bit of a chain reaction. Looks like 3 or 4 trucks getting involved, but that is going to bring out a mass flurry into the pits here. Everybody says thank you very much. I will gladly come in and get some fresh rubber here on lap 33. And this could shake up the standings a little bit. We'll see if anybody elects for any kind of differing strategy here. I mean, if I were in the truck right now, I'm taking 4 tires, I'm taking full fuel, no questions at all. And I'm assuming you're probably the same way, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, under caution. I mean, you wanted to get track position, but I think the leaders are going to do a good job, and it looks like Bouchard is going to come out front here with a 95 in second. So the guys are finally leaving pit lane here as everybody is on a mass exit. Trying not to stay off of each other, but race to the green cone there at the end of pit lane. But yeah, I would be in there. I would take all my repairs. If I don't have that many repairs, if I don't have to use my fast repair, I'm not gonna. This is only lap 33. We're on our second caution now, and I would only imagine that another caution ensues as these guys are going to go back out there with fresh tires and full fuel. So the truck is now going to be light, or it's not light, but be extremely loose again until these tires wear in.
Yeah, certainly some words over the radio to the 76's pit crew, as really rough pit stop by the 76 crew, turning in a 15.8 second pit stop when the other top 3 were all in the 14-second range, with Grady Gherkin as a 14.1. Looks like the fastest pit time for any of the guys really in the entire field. So great job by those guys, and getting him back out there in third. But it is Bouchard that jumps from third place, actually second place coming in, and he will jump into first place for this restart. Kirby, Gherkin, Bartles, and Jeffers your top 5, with Stouffer, West, Greathouse, Kirby, Justin Kirby. I guess we should delineate between the two. And then Jeremy Little back there in 10th. So we'll take a look at the pace truck here and see if these guys, looks like we got at least one more lap to go as the lights are still on. So we'll try and bring in Christopher again. We'll just see if he is available to talk, and we'll see how it's going so far for him.
Okay, so Christopher currently in 6th position after the round of pit stops on lap 30. We're about to complete lap 34 here. Lights are still on the pace truck as we continue to pace around here at Atlanta with the guys at the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series.
And so we are doubling up, so we'll quickly bring in Christopher. Chris, you're sitting now P6 and just kind of hanging out in the beginning of the race the way it seems, and watching these guys do some battling up front. It looks like most of the incidents have happened behind you so far, but how's it handling out there right now?
Pretty much kind of like I was thinking. It's very loose first few laps, and it starts to tighten up, and has a kind of tight, loose deal. Coming off of 2, I think it's pretty interesting. I see a lot of guys getting loose. I'm sure you see that on the broadcast too, but I scraped the wall. I was coming up through the field early, and yeah, I didn't get all that damage fixed, so hopefully I don't burn off my tires and end up casualtying myself. But yeah, it's a little bit loose.
Yeah, we've seen that the right rear, that mirror finish get a little bit scraped up, but either way, you're back running there. You're back up to 6th place right now, so we'll let you get back to it, and good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right, again, that's your in-race reporter, the 25 of Christopher. Lights are out on the pace truck. It will be in this time by, and it is going to be Chris Bouchard, new leader out front, as he will be the one to drop the hammer first, and he has done so. We're back racing here in Atlanta. Good start by the 28s. Good start by the inside line altogether, as the 46 of Gherkin already on the inside of Brent Kirby for 2nd place, as these guys do battle into turn 1. Great view right there, seeing the field just ripping by, and just awesome sights and sounds. And you know, as we have good job, good save by him, and it looks like the not sure if that was the one truck or who that was in the back right there also getting loose, but that actually will bring out a yellow flag, as we got some more incidents coming off of turn 3 there, the way it looks. Some guys having to dive down pit road just to avoid the incident, as a lot more happening even on the front stretch there, as it's already happening behind right there, Jimmy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right there, Carl. I'm trying to get back to where it initially started, as so much is happening here. Trying to find out. Looks like, I'm gonna say, looks like maybe.
No, it's already in front of them. Yep. Actually, might start with the 95. The 95 of Kirby involved in that one. So maybe take it back, and it could have been right there with our leaders, and that could be huge incidents there. If we can switch the 95 already involved in the incident, so we may need to switch and even go back further, as he is already sideways, and he's already back there in the back of the pack. But yeah, it looks like right there, maybe he goes to shut the door and didn't realize that Gherkin was down there on the ball. Actually, now you see the truck just getting loose into the corner, those new tires getting him loose, and a big incident there. Unfortunately, the 48 of Ratcliffe getting involved in that one as well, and that is going to be I don't want to say the big one, but it's definitely not a small one here at the at Atlanta. That's involving way too many trucks. Not what you want to see, and
the 95, the 55, the 78, the 19. Guys just continue to check up and try to avoid this. Obviously, 48 was already involved. 55 trying to get his truck back in order here. As we were watching the 99 collector from just getting loose, but that might have paid off for the 99. It slowed him up and was able to stay out of this here. But it looks like some of the guys had to come down pit lane. So I'm sure there might be some black flags that need to be cleared as they were trying to avoid the wreck coming down. But
yeah, Yeah, and then Jimmy, if you can do one thing for me, if you can just change that overlay right there to show the positions gained and lost for the race so far, and that will tell the story of that incident right there, as that collected a lot of our early speed drivers. And you see a lot of the guys that were up front before now find their way in the back of the field. I mean, we still got some of the heavy hitters that were up there to begin with Bouchard in first, Jeffers up there, Stouffer up there as well. But man, that was that rocked the field a little bit.
Yeah, it rocked the field a little bit with, put Carlton Bartles back in the back now, Matthew Greathouse, Grady Gherkin, Joe Hurd down 8 spots, Jerry West is down 10 spots, Brent Kirby down 24 spots, Felipe Ramos, he's down 9 spots. He was running mid-pack, just kind of got collected as things kind of evolved, but you kind of see the field has flipped. But right now, we've got Justin Kirby in the pits, Andrew Ratcliffe's in the pits, Tyler Letchworth coming back out. These guys are the only ones laps down right now, but trying to get their trucks fixed, get back out here. Still early on the race, you never know what's going to happen, and you can take this, be in 29th position, get back out there, and still finish in maybe 15th spot if enough incidents happen, as it's early here at Atlanta with a Man Cave After Dark Truck Series.
Yeah, not sure if the 48 of Ratcliffe had a faster pair left, obviously getting involved in that early incident involving him and Porzuchek. So he might already use that fast pair in the first one, and that shunt right there was certainly a bigger one right there. So if he's going to repair, he may be sitting in there for quite some time. Already 3 laps down to the field. And Justin Kirby, another one that was right there in the top 10, and now he is sitting at 2 laps down. Looks like he's still in the pits trying to work and get that thing straightened back out. So, it could be another situation right there where he didn't have, a fast spare to use, or it could be a situation where, maybe they realize we're only 40 laps in, and it's a third of the way through already, but it could be a lot that transpires yet, and maybe he's thinking that he can get back up there. Or it could be, what we consider the worst of all 3, and you go in there wanting to use that faster pair and don't realize that it's unchecked. And I don't know about you, Jimmy, but I've had that happen. I mean, if it happens once, it's too many times, but that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, it's a hard feeling when you don't want to use your faster pair. You try to keep it in your back pocket, and it gets burned up. But right now, the lights are off on the pace truck, and these guys, nope, yep. They're off. I thought I goofed up, but no, they're off, and they're gonna go green here as Chris Bouchard takes them down as Barney waves the green flag.
Yeah, I don't know who got a better jump there, the 28 of Bouchard or the pace truck diving into pit road. It looks like the pace truck kind of made a late decision to dive into pit road and kind of jumped into pit road. I mean, the front end definitely ramped up, but we are back racing here at Atlanta, and Bouchard with a good jump, and he is off to the races. And now just, other than Jeffers and Stouffer and Bennett, all these other guys are new players to the field, so we'll see how they handle being up front here. Looks like, looking back there, not sure if it's part of the paint scheme or not, but the 5 looks like it's got a little bit of damage there. I know it is part of the paint scheme. But, yeah, all these guys up here you see up, 18, 15, 19, 10 spots. These guys started mid to back pack, and now they are racing up here, battling for the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about a track like this where people get wrapped up in incidents, Get some of the guys that are running in the back, just keeping it clean, just running a nice clean race, just doing their thing. And here they are, fighting for a top position, trying to get to a podium, to shake up that points battle a little bit. But back here too wide here with the 18 with Tim Glass as they work their way around here on lap 43.
But you're still feeling that, and you see the big gaggle there towards the top of your screen coming out of there. That's all the initial leaders that were up there with the 76 of Kyle Bartles. You got the 55 of Jeremy Little back there. Grady Gherkin, the 46, the 78 of TJ DeBlasi in that mix too. You just, these guys went from battling for the lead and battling inside the top 5 to now battling each other once again, but back here in anywhere from 15th to 20th on back.
Yeah, there's one thing. It's a whole different race though, Carl. From being in the front to being in the back. Even if you're around the same guys, now you got to come through the field. It's a 99.
getting loose again, the 95, and getting into the 99. That's going to bring out another caution, and big hit once again. The field getting it checked up. It looks like the 57 getting involved as well, and that could spell the night for the 95 of Brent Kirby disconnecting from the session. So that right there could be the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. And unfortunately, what would have been potentially a great night, starting on the pole, running some really good laps out front, and it seemed like ever since he lost the lead, it was an uphill battle. But getting involved in two incidents there, both of them getting through turn 3 and just getting loose on the entry and collecting a couple cars. But that is appears to be the end of the night for the 95. Real shame to see that, as he certainly had a fast truck out here.
Yeah, and sometimes, if you're out of fast repairs and you just got a meatball and you're going to go in and spend 15, 20 minutes, of the race, under caution, getting your truck repaired, sometimes the frustration settles in and you're just done for the night. And it looks like Brent Kirby will be out for tonight, and allows some of the other guys have gotten wrapped up or maybe still had a little bit of repairs that need to be done, come back in and get that all fixed up, as it maybe also start thinking about pit strategy just a little bit, as these guys can go about 49 to 53 laps. So you were looking at, let's see, we're at almost 50 laps by the time I go green here, so we'll still have about 70 laps. So these guys can at least do this with one more pit stop and make sure they got the best tires as possible. I'm sure there's all kinds of strategies coming out right now, but the biggest mover right now is Cal Gnomes, as he's in 7th position and he's 19 spots up. And then Christopher Spencer in 5th. He's 18 positions ahead where he started. And Tony Japs in the 6th position, up 15 spots.
Yeah, I hope for the for the sake of him, the 99 of Riley Burr, I'm just hoping that he's got a fast repair left, because he seems to be Mr. Unlucky here tonight and getting involved in some incidents that I don't feel like any of them were really anything he could do. I mean, that one for sure, again, just kind of hard luck situation right there, but doesn't look like he has a fast repair left, but sticking it out. And those are the kind of things that I know me and Jimmy love to see. We love to see guys that battle back, and you may realize that you're completely out of the race. You have no shot at winning, no shot at top 5, top 10, any kind of really decent finish, but you hang out there, you get your truck fixed enough, you get back out there, and what could have been a 27th place finish turns into a 22nd, just because you kind of hang out there and pick off some of the stragglers that get involved in later incidents. But yeah, that's the other situation right there, is Peter Brzucek getting involved in that first one, and looks like he does finally have that 52 truck repaired and back going here on lap 47, and finds his way back up just about to where he started in 11th place and back up to 12th. So a good rebound here by Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was talking to Peter a little bit prior to the race, and he's got a little community over there on his Twitch channel. If you're interested in Twitch over there at VVise, so go check him out. He streams his race live from his point of view and his races as he continues to go around here with iRacing. But yeah, Peter's made a good comeback, as he's now in 12th spots. Yeah, he's in 12th position, only down 1 spot from where he started. So making a good comeback here, and hopefully it continues to stay that way. But Christopher Spencer in that 997 SSR machine looking pretty good, sitting in the top 5, up 18 spots from where he started.
Yeah, right aside of him there, the 19 of Tony Jeps up 15 positions. So both those guys loving life right now, as we are on lap 48. But the one loving it the most right now, Chris Bouchard, your man out front. Starting alongside will be Eric Jeffers in the 4. Christopher Travis Bennett making up row 2. As we talked about, Tony Japs and Chris Spencer making up row 3. As the pace truck lights are out once again, and it seems like it's a little bit of a breeding cautions here, but it's also the loose setup kind of breeding some cautions. So hopefully these guys get back to some green flag racing, stretch this thing out a little bit. The pace truck is in with another hop into pit road. And the 28 of Bouchard back on the loud pedal. We're back green here at Atlanta as everybody slipping and sliding a little bit on that restart with these, cooler used tires now, and just trying to get some grip off the line. But the 28 gets a nice launch, gets out there. The 4 of Jeffers going to settle in a second. The 25, 6, and 97 all doing battle right there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, get some of these guys from the, in the back, they're now on the front. So to see how they run up here with the some of the faster guys and the leaders from the previous 2 races, as these guys try to get that podium or that win here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chris Bouchard is continues to lead the pack here with Eric Jeffers in 2nd, Christopher Stouffer in 3rd, Travis Bennett in 4th, Christopher Spencer in 5th, Robert Colgan in 6th, Cal Gnomes in 7th, Tony Japs and Jake Lesh trading places for 8th and 9th, Matt Foster in 10th, Jasper Crawford in 11th.
Yeah, I mean, I know it takes a bigger field to have, these kind of momentum changes, and it's amazing to see that, right back to back to back, as you got Spencer 18 spots up, Colgan 18 spots up. At the time, Gomes was right there 18 spots up as well, actually 19 spots up, but now Lesh getting in there into 7th place, and trying to work his way back up to the 5. Scraping the wall a little bit, and again, maybe a little broadcaster's curse. He's going to drop back towards the back, losing a bunch of positions right there, and he's going to fall all the way back to 21st. So back a little bit closer to where he started, not what he wanted to see here, but see some of the time starting to pick up as Travis Bennett in 4th place runs the fastest lap of the race so far out of 31.05. So really good lap there by the 6 machine as he's starting to reel in this top 3. And we've got a battle once again for the lead. This time it involves Eric Jeffers as he's trying to get to the inside and take that position over from Chris Bouchard. But Bouchard made the pass for the lead on the outside, so he's just as comfortable being on that outside right there and doing battle as he is holding off the 4 Jeffers right now. And that's going to bring our in-race reporter, the 25 of Stouffer, into the mix here. So that thing is back nice and shiny, and he's trying to bring that thing to the front.
I mean, he's making that high line work as Chris Bouchard made it work earlier, trying to get around Eric Jeffers. Basically, he was able to, they're trading spots back and forth. The 6th of Travis Bennett just kind of hanging out back there to see how things go between the 25 and the 4. Try to save his tires just a little bit. But we are back in a caution here.
Yeah, turn 1 looks like it involves a 32 and 00. We'll take a look at what happened, and just looks like it involved the 3rd one, and that is netcode. I mean, it could have been contact eventually between the 32 and 00, but definitely seen some gap in between there. As we slow it down here, you see the 00 sliding up a little bit. Looks like the 32 maybe getting a little bit loose and not giving the 00 that much room to come up, but certainly probably about a foot of netcode in between the 2 trucks there, and getting both of them involved, and both of them taking some pretty substantial hits there for both the 32 of Matt Foster and the 00 of Jerry West. So not a fun race for either of those guys, as they both had their share of incidents, and the 32 of Foster was able to avoid some earlier, and avoid that first one for sure, getting around Borzuchek, but not that one at all. Now the question is, who goes on pit road? Looks like Bouchard got faked out by the rest of the field, as I don't think he realized that everybody else was going to come in. Either that, or he was trying to do a little faking out of himself, but he is going to stay out one way or another. And let's just take a look back at that right there. I mean, that was... I'm not sure what to make of that, Jimmy. I can't tell if he tried to do a fake out himself, or if he looked back in that mirror and realized that he made a mistake at the last moment.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go in, but he didn't. He didn't want to wreck anybody. So I'm just gonna slow this down. As they're falling around here, going to pit lane entry here. He just wasn't quite sure what to do yet.
Yeah, the field's still bunching up, and last minute you see right there the 25 of Stouffer come in, and I think Bouchard realized that it was too late to come down into pit road. You see him really snap back to the right, because if he didn't get down there and get on that yellow line, it was going to be an unsafe entry, and he would have had a penalty, which would have been a lot worse than staying out. So he is going to be in a bit of hurt out there now, as he is your leader, but he is out there, and he's got Matthew Greathouse in second place. That's it. The rest of the field behind him has come into the pit, with Chris Stouffer being right there in third. Travis Bennett, Eric Jeffers making out your top 5. Spencer, Lesh, Colgan, Bartles, and Crawford your top 10. So thoughts and prayers to Chris Bouchard on this restart.
Yeah, I mean, with him being the leader, it's kind of like his call, you know, and what to do. And when you're not quite sure what the whole field's going to do with or without you, got left out, high and dry as he tried to come in. Just he would have been a little bit too late, as Chris Bouchard's last lap that he was in was lap 32. Matt Greathouse is lap 37. Now you got Chris Stouffer and the rest of the gang has all been in from lap 55. So now with these two out front on older tires, can they keep up the pace? You know, maybe they'll actually be a little bit better as it takes a few laps for those new tires to come in, Carl.
Yeah, I think that the biggest struggle is going to be just getting that power down on the initial restart and making sure you get up through the gears nice and cleanly. But it's worth mentioning that one way or another, everybody in the field is still going to have to come down pit road and make at least one more pit stop. It's too long of a stretch to get this thing all the way to the end from here, unless you're just absolutely just selling the farm to try and save enough fuel to get you all the way to the end. And, you know, we've had our fair share of cautions here in the first half of this race, as we are just getting to halfway right now. And it's worth mentioning that there's probably going to be at least another caution out there, and it all depends on when that thing comes out. If it comes out even right now on the restart, it could be right at the window to try and make it there to the end. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it could very well hurt him in the short term here with Chris Bouchard, but he'll be back on pit strategy and taking his medicine and falling to the back. But he is going to have his hands full here on the restart. The pace truck lights are out. We are double filing up once again. And again, is going to be Bouchard and Greathouse, the two that stayed out here on that front row, followed by all the hungry trucks behind him, with Stouffer and Bennett on that second row, just ready to fire this thing off. Coming through turn 3 and 4, pace truck will be making that jump into pit road, and the 28 jumps back on the loud pedal. Nice restart by both him and the 51 of Greathouse. Looks like the 7 getting a little out of shape. That is Lesh, and he's starting to get eaten up as they're 3 wide going into turn 1. And that's not what you want to do with fresh tires, Jimmy. We've seen this thing, be rough with just single file racing, and there we already have issues. Oh. Big wreck in the back, and looks like it involved a few trucks, but they all end up getting straightened back out. But that will bring out another yellow flag. And talk about your safety net there for Chris Bouchard. He's going to end up giving up a ton of track position, but I feel like he's got to know that he's got to come in at this point.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to, as looks like these guys, the 19 just gets a little bit loose. Checks up to 78 and 8 back there, but the 19 really of Tony Japs really took a beating, getting things back in order. And I'm gonna just go ahead and rewind that just a little bit and catch where he's got loose again, so see who else was involved here, as it looks like Peter Pozorczyk also got involved in that as well. The 19 just got a little bit loose into the 78, into the 8, 52 into the 45. These guys went down low, kind of getting by everybody as they continue to go here as the yellow came out. But 19 really took a beating on that. 52 had nowhere to go. got in the back of the 45. So another caution here, as it might have helped out Chris Bouchard, but it looks like he is still staying out there.
Yep, he is staying out, and looks like he's content, just kind of making his bed, as he's going to give up so much track position. And you've seen, passing can happen here, but the fact that everybody just came in the pits, he would only have 3-4 lap newer tires than everybody else. So it's not like, if it was 10-15 laps, yeah, maybe they'll be able to storm through the field a little bit easier, but only a few laps newer tires. He is one of the fastest trucks out there, but it's still going to make passing very difficult. So I'm assuming he's realized that his fight is still better trying to fight as defense than offense at this point in the race. But we are on lap 61 here. Still got another 57 laps to go here in this race, so still just past halfway. But these guys got to get going. They got to get some green flag laps in here and get a nice little run and see how they can stretch this thing out. We talked about the quick caution, possibly putting some guys into the window. Looks like most of the majority of the guys that came in, though, were just guys coming in to get repairs. Doesn't look like anybody electing to try and stretch that thing out on fuel, as it's still a good clip and still probably out of the realm of making it.
I mean, it's close, depending on the cautions, and are they going to be able to, catch a couple cautions, stay out there? I mean, some of these guys in the back might try to pull that strategy off. Right now, our first lap guy would be Jerry West back at 23rd. Looking to maybe catch that lucky dog along with TJ Tobias back in 24th. So Justin Kirby is 7 laps down. Riley Burr is 15 laps down. John Williams still chugging along out here. He's 17 laps down. Andrew Ratcliffe in the 48. He's 19 laps down, having a rough night here tonight at Atlanta. But right now, Chris Bouchard, even though he's on some older tires, still finds himself up front. Christopher Stouffer, our in-race reporter tonight, is in second. Eric Jeffers in third. Matt Greyhouse in fourth. Travis Bennett in fifth. Christopher Spencer sixth. Kyle Bartles in seventh. Robert Colgan in eighth. Jake Lesh in ninth. And Jasper Crawford rounding out our top 10 here tonight so far.
No surprise that I'd probably do the same thing if I'm anywhere 15th place or further back. I'm coming in pretty much on any chance that I get, especially under caution, to go ahead and get some fresh tires, fill it up on fuel, and that's what it looks like. It pretty much is that everybody that did come into the pits, and for that matter still coming into the pits, is 16th on back, with the first person being Joe Hurd in the 8 car, the 32 of Matt Foster there in 17th, and all the rest of the guys on back did come into the pits, and they are topped off. So you never know. I mean, for them to make any kind of pit strategy like that work, I think they're going to need this thing to run all the way to the end, because they want these guys to pit under green conditions and any feel. Now at this point, if there is another quick caution, they will be right on the window to make it to the end, and at that point they would stretch out that little bit of fuel that they would need to. So they're going to need to have this thing run to the end if that's the strategy they're going with. But pace truck lights are out once again. Bouchard and Stouffer on the front row. We'll see if Bouchard can continue to get those good restarts here with these a little bit older tires. Pit on lap 32, so quite some time now on these tires. Needs to get one more good restart here, but he's got some fresh tires of Stouffer on the outside, and he is on the loud pedals. Still does get a good start, still clears the field, and it's going to be the 28, the first one into turn 1. But the question is, how quick are those guys going to close on him right behind, as it looks like Stouffer giving up some real estate there, as it's going to be Jeffers sliding around on the inside, grabbing second place. And I think now is probably as good a time as any, as we are just past halfway. It's time to crank this thing up. It's time to let you guys hear the rumble of these engines as they run around Atlanta Motor Speedway, and give you a little love to hear it.
Crank these guys up and let the sounds of the trucks for everybody's enjoyment. This track has some good cameras to it, Carl. Just the rumble coming down the back stretch. You know, and then these guys get all spread out. It's just a continuous zoomies, I guess if you want to call them that. As these guys go around here, the 25 is looking to the inside of the 28, taking that second place away from Chris Richard, as Eric Jeffers is now out front.
Little close for comfort right there, as the 25 does make the pass on the 28 of Bouchard, but that certainly got a little close coming through the corner, but move the 25 of Stouffer up to second place now, as you know, you're starting to see those tires come into play here, and it's not as big a gap as I thought it would be. I thought the 28 would be back there at 6th or 7th place at this point, but he's doing a great job hanging in there, only in 3rd place right now. Again, thank everybody out there for watching. It looks like we got Melinda rooting for Team Lesh out there, as we've seen him up at the front, sliding to the back, but now finds himself right there in 9th position. So good job there for Jake Lesh. And it looks like Barry rooting for our in-race supporter tonight, the 25 of Stouffer up there in 2nd place. Brent Kirby sending his regards for the incidents that he was involved in and caused a couple of them, unfortunately. Rough night for the 95, and again, just what could have been with a great pole position here at Atlanta, and certainly showed some speed, but just wasn't meant to be, as that truck was just unstable going into 3 when he was back there in the traffic. But all in all, again, thank everybody out there watching right now, and what we'll watch in the future. And just as always, we like you to hit that like button. It helps get the video out here for the guys, and the more likes it gets, the higher it goes up there on the the YouTube ratings to kind of key other people to come in and watch it, and then hit that subscribe button. That helps you get some insight on everything else that CRN has to offer, as we got racing going from Sunday to Thursday at this point, and a couple of the nights like tonight, you got your double headers. So thank everybody that's already done it, and tell your friends, tell your family. These drivers love to see it, and we know we love seeing those numbers grow. We're trying to hit our target number of 300 subscribers by the end of the year, but I mean, we can't do it without the great racing that these guys put on here in UCRL, that the guys over at ECRC did, that the guys over in the Core Racing League do. I mean, it's great racing. I say it to these guys every week. We can't put on a good broadcast unless they put on a good race for us, and doing a good job here. Got a little tricky, and we said it before the race that this truck is a little bit loose tonight, so it could potentially, lead to some issues, and some drivers definitely had those issues here tonight. And right now, I think the issue for the 28 is he's wishing he had some new tires.
Yeah, the 28's just feeling the effect of the older tires right now, Carl. He's not slow by any means. He's making it last. It's just like he's slowly bleeding out here, hoping basically to come in here soon and be able to get that green flag stop, and hopefully it stays green, because he's gonna have to pit a lot earlier than these other guys, and hopefully they're able to keep it green until they start their stops, and they'll be able to maintain on the lead lap, as he gets a little bit loose there in front of the 997 of Christopher Spencer.
Yeah, it looked like the 89 there of Jasper Crawford had a checkup, as well as kind of pulled a little bit of a slide job in front of him, and I don't think he realized how close it was. But yeah, just doing everything he can right now, just kind of fight. But the problem is he's getting towards the end of that pit window at this point. I mean, you figure with the yellow flags, he should be able to stretch that thing out to maybe closer to 55 laps. But again, he last pit back there on lap 32. So that would only take him to lap 87. So he's coming up on his absolute maximum pit window, and it's going to be one lone truck coming in there into pit lane, as everybody else, you see their pit window a little bit longer, pitting on lap 55, 56. Some guys out there on lap 60, 61. So these guys will be able to run a lot longer, and they're not going to be able to make it on fuel, as we said. Maybe the guys back there that pit on lap 60, 61 will be able to try and stretch it out. I still don't think they can make it all the way. But what they will be able to do is come in and take some different strategies, like possibly 2 tires, possibly fuel only. So a lot of strategy to be played out here. It all depends on if this thing can stay green the rest of the way. But right now, that 28 is all on the defensive.
He's doing the best he can to stay with these guys as his tires are wearing off. He's going to have to find himself down to the lower side of the track here eventually, so he can get into the pits cleanly without trying to take somebody's nose off. You know, unlike last time where he just barely missed pit entry. So right now, I'm sure he's fighting to maintain the most positions as possible, and then you'll see him slow down and take that inside that route as the 997 is looking to get around him on the underside. The 55 looking on the high side, so 28's kind of a sandwich there, holding his own, but you see he's just a little bit loose there right now. But back in front with Eric Jeffers putting on a clinic again. He's out to a 1.2 second lead over Christopher and that 25 car. So Eric Jeffers coming on strong here at the end. Kyle Bartels in third, Grady Gherkin in fourth, Robert Colgan in fifth, Travis Bennett in sixth, Chris Bouchard just lost position to Jeremy Little for seventh, and Christopher Spencer in ninth, Jasper Crawford in 10th.
28 back into the wall. I see it on my screen over here. Scraping the wall a little bit coming out of turn 2, so those tires are certainly fed up, and he's going to have to bring that thing into pit road. But biggest lead of the night, and it is Eric Jeffers out there at the point. He is the man to beat right now out there to almost a 1.5 second lead over Christopher. So certainly finding his pace here late in the race, and seen some shuffling back there in the field. I didn't know if Bouchard came into the pits. It doesn't look like he did. We'll take a look back here. Looks like we might have an incident with the 37 of Ramos, but that was just coming out of pit lane. Nobody else involved. Just goosing the throttle just a little bit too much coming out there.
And that happens. I mean, I was racing an Indy race a couple weeks ago, coming to pits. I'm in second place, and then I ended up spinning as I was trying to leave the pits and hit the wall. So I mean, that stuff happens. Just give a little too much gas, you know, depending on the vehicle, especially if it has the horsepower, you know, make it spin around like on you like that. But Eric Jeffers doing what he needs to do right now, back out in the lead. Christopher in second, followed by Kyle Bartels. So the guys have found themselves back up front after being in that early wreck there that put them in towards the back of the pack. Grady Gherkin back up to fourth position, and Robert Colgan in fifth. Still, Robert Colgan being our biggest mover though, up 19 spots.
Flavor Flav is going to be proud of that man right here tonight, up to the top 5. But I mean, it's no shocker to see the top 2 that are up there. They're top 2 in points right now. Stouffer, your points leader, Jeffers in second place, and you know, got to see both in the first and second race, Stouffer coming away with decent finishes, as he finished third in the first race, second in the race last week at Homestead. Jeffers, you know, kind of a little bit of the opposite, as he was the dominant truck at the first race at Daytona, leading 47 laps. And then last week, didn't see him at all out front. No laps led at all last week, as he came away with a 7th, or actually a 9th place finish there at Homestead. But he's got the speed again. He's shown that he's not a flash in the pan for sure after Daytona, and he can run on these speedway tracks as well. As what was a 1.5 second lead. Well, actually, no, it's still up there as a 1.5 second lead over Stouffer. So just kind of maintaining that lead right now. But watching that 28 of Bouchard still sliding back. He's back in 12th right now. And I can't believe he's still making that thing last on fuel. That thing has got to come in soon. I know the tires are wanting a break, but gonna need a break for fuel, and that is exactly what is going to happen. Bouchard coming in the pits. Looks like we got some other takers as well, as Spencer in there, Japs, Glass, Letchworth, all coming into pit lane to get their last service of the race. Unless we get a late caution here, this is kind of shake it up a little bit. Now Bouchard is going to come out and he's going to have those fresh tires. He'll be running faster laps, and that'll be his chance to try and kind of make up that deficit. But you see right there already responding, the 4 of Jeffers into the pits. He's not going to get short pit on and have to fight his way back. He's going to get in here right away. Now, if you're Stouffer, Colgan, Bennett, Hurd, and Lesh, and Gomes for that matter, I almost feel like you got to play it the exact opposite. You got to run this thing out as long as you can, and either hope for another caution or just hope to get enough of a lead that it's not going to be killed when you come into the pits, because you'll be able to come out and have the freshest tires to run down whoever short pitted on you at this point. But you already see some of the other guys diving right in as Bennett in, Stouffer in, Gomes in, and right now that leaves Robert Colgan, your leader right now, out there in first. Hurd and Lesh up to third place right now. So I'm sure Melinda is loving the scene right now as Lesh up there into the top 3. We'll see when these guys decide to make that left-hand turn into pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's 7 people on the lead lap as Stouffer, Bennett, and Gomes and Lewis are now just exiting, as Robert Colgan, Joe Hurd, Jake Lesh are still out on the track, and those guys are doing a good job. I mean, it's just a different pit strategy. Right now, 3 guys on the lead lap. If something were to happen, you got all these guys on new tires. We've seen the cautions happen on new tires, Carl. I mean, something could happen, and then these 2 would be the only ones on the lead lap.
First doesn't want to wait any longer. He goes around on the outside, and he is back on the lead lap right now. But yeah, not that you're trying to throw the broadcaster curse out there at all or anything, Jimmy. But yeah, it can be very interesting. And right now, it is Colgan out front as he's got a almost 4-second lead over Hurd, as it's pretty much almost the entire backstretch that he's got a lead right now. So we'll see how this thing plays out. Not sure if Hurd is trying to go for that long game and try and make this thing last 57 laps, but I mean, you take a look at the 28 of Bouchard, and granted he got some caution laps under his belt, but he was able to make that thing last. But no need to worry about that. We've got a caution, Jimmy. This thing just got interesting. Now, granted, all these guys that are a lap down will be able to stay out, and providing Colgan, Hurd, and Lesh come into the pits here, which they pretty much have to at this point. They will all end up getting a wave around and get back on the lead lap, but those 3 drivers are going to have the freshest tires on the track. They're going to line up in the first 3 positions. We've got some new players.
Carl, Joe Hurd pitted at lap 60. With this caution, if he decided to stay out, he has the whole field behind him. So they would have to make up a whole lap if he's got enough fuel to make it. Joe Hurd might be in position to win this thing if he decides to stay out and has enough fuel.
I mean, maybe not win it, because obviously if you're Colgan and Lesh, you're not going to make it on fuel. So you got to come in here and take the fuel and get this thing to the end, and certainly have the fresh tires too. But yeah, I mean, if Hurd doesn't think that he has a chance at winning, but is absolutely content taking a top 3, he can certainly stay out and really just screw 90% of this field. But he is going to come in the top 3 in the pit road. And this should be the final time here that these guys are down in pit road. I mean, again, these other guys will get the wave around. You see everybody else staying out to try and get back on the lead lap. But these 3 right here will be your leaders. They will have, looks like 6 lap fresher tires. Question is, do they have the pace to get it done? I mean, we've seen Bouchard have some pretty good pace with some older tires, but it is going to be Colgan. A little bit of a battle there for second and third, but it's going to be Colgan, Hurd, and Lesh, your top 3. But man, this thing just turned on its head. And actually, come to think of it, Jeffers did just get his lap back as well. So he will be back in the mix of this thing too. And wouldn't be surprised if he goes and gets some fresh tires to compete with these guys. Clearly has a fast truck, and it could be Jeffers at this point, the one to beat.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen here. This really starts the end of the race up. People staying out, obviously the guys that are already pitted on lap 88, 89. TJ DeBlasi is out there. He's one of the guys that pitted on lap 60. Find himself sitting in 8th position right now. He is up 17 spots. So, I mean, any place from here is just forward for him. So this would be a good showing for TJ. Making that call right now. And another good mover is Jasper Crawford up 15 positions. Obviously, Robert Colgan currently in the lead is up 23. Joe Hurd's up 10. Jake Lesh is up 11. Christopher Spencer's up 13 in 10th spot. Cal Gomes is back in 16th spot, but he's still up 10 spots. So a lot of guys having a lot of good races. And some of the guys that you would figure to see out front, like Brent Kirby, not such a good night. Finding himself in the back tonight, but plenty of races left this season, as these guys have. I'm not sure if they have drop weeks or not, but a lot of racing left this season here with the guys at the UCRL and the Main Cave After Dark Truck Series.
So we have got 22 laps remaining at this point, and it looks like when we get the green flag, it'll be 20 to go. So who you got out there? Obviously, we know some of the ones that have already been in chat mentioning who their drivers are. Who do you think is going to bring this thing home, though? As, again, this thing just got turned on its head. And unless I'm mistaken, Jimmy, unless my SDK did not update, looks like the only one that stayed out there and got the wave around was Jerry West, that had not pitted in the lap 83 realm. He last pit on laps 55, so I'm not sure if that 00 can make it to the end, but certainly a different strategy compared to everybody else. But you see all those guys right now that are a minute down, they're going to get their wave rounds if they haven't already. And you'll see a mass accident. We're not back racing, folks. I promise you. No. These guys are just getting back to the field so we can go back green. And it looks like we are going to extend the caution for one lap just to give these guys the grace of catching back up. As you see, 4 lonely trucks, well, I guess 5 if you count the pace truck, on that backstretch right now going into turn 3, and then the rest of the field coming around. Now, the interesting thing is, with all these guys getting a wave around, unless the the admin lets them double file it up, they should be single file all the way back. So, I mean, it's going to help them with the restart, but a guy that would have been, say in 12th place, like Bennett right there, or maybe the 13th place Little, where they'd only be a few truck lengths behind the leaders, that could put him back a decent amount of real estate behind them and really having to close the gap. So we'll see how this thing plays out, if they're going to let them double file it up, or if they're going to make them go single file and follow the iRacing rules. That would certainly be an interesting turn of events as well.
I think that is the most amount of vehicles I've seen waved around in a race. Any race that I've ever covered or been in. Definitely a lot of wave arounds. All these guys back in a lead lap, and it gives them that shot, that ability to possibly win here. Obviously, Eric Jeffers is currently sitting in 4th, looking for another win. The 25, our in-car reporter there, sitting in 5th. So these guys are looking to get back to the front. And Robert Colgan, Joe Hurd, and Jake Lesh is going to defend these guys off for the next 20 laps.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's going to be crazy here, running to the end, and you got Colgan, Hurd, and Lesh out front. You look at the race last week at Miami Homestead. Lesh, I'm seeing finished in 21st. Colgan back there in 25th. And it looks like Hurd in 22nd. These guys have not seen the front too much, if at all, this season. They see it right now, but Everybody else is seeing green as we're back racing here in Atlanta. Everybody already jockeying for position. Colgan trying to do whatever he can to get out there to lead. Again, he's got the freshest tires. Maybe doesn't have the kind of speed that these other guys do, as they're already looking to go 2, 3, 4 wide on the backstretch. But it is going to be Colgan still leading out there. The 79 is up front. The 25 of Stouffer. You see them on the left side there, going to the outside, and he's going to make the pass for second. Getting a good run is Stouffer, going to make the dive down to the inside. Battle for the lead, gets a little bit upset there as the 8 kind of takes a little air off the back of his truck. And now it's going to be Gherkin on the outside. Big old head of steam. Is going to run right to second place. Cannot cut down though. It's still going to be the 79 as his own pace truck out front there, as he is leading the 25. It's 46. And two of the guys that came in there, the 79 of Stouffer, it's the 79 of Colgan, and the 8 also getting into the wall. That's going to give the lead up to Stouffer, but he has got some hungry drivers behind him, including the 4 of Jeffers, who's clearly got some speed. He was leading earlier. He's going to make his way into second place. Throw a blanket over the top 6 right now, as we have got 16 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, we're on board here with Chris Stouffer, looking back at Eric Jeffers, as they're trying to get around him. He's looking down to the inside right now. So, there's a lot of pressure being up front. Them guys being able to use the draft, trying to defend a whole racetrack, as they can go about 3 wide. It looks like Eric just gets a little bit loose and has to drop back. But these guys continue to go around here. Chris is going to continue his lead here. Robert Colgan and still in second, still hanging in there. Eric Jeffers in third, Grady Gherkin in fourth, Kyle Bartles in fifth, Joe Hurt in sixth, Chris Richard in seventh, Christopher Spencer in eighth, Travis Bennett in ninth, Scott Bolster rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, first time we're seeing Bolster up there into the top 10 as he entered the night in third in points. So nice little bounce back for Bolster. But out front, it is Stouffer trying to run away from these guys. Again, we talked about these 3 of Colgan, Hurd, and Lesh having
lap cars. They're too wide here, Carl.
Yeah, we talked about them having the newest tires, but those tires were only 5 laps newer, as it looks like the truck will get back into shape here and will stay green here. But yeah, that was a little bit of a brown pants moment for everybody. But this is one heck of a gaggle of cars here, as you got 2nd through 9th all just battling together, while Stouffer out front trying to just wave goodbye, as he is out to a half a second lead right now. Still within drafting distance, so these guys are still going to draft, but they got to work themselves out and start running down this leader right now. Still plenty of time, but you see these trucks really starting to get a little out of shape. The 28 back in the mix here is Bouchard, and what a comeback for him, as he was just really put himself in a bad situation by not coming down the pits when everybody else did, and still found a way to get back up to the front here at the end of the race.
Yeah, Robert Colgan obviously being the freshest of Robert Colgan and Joe Hurd have the freshest tires, sitting in 2nd and 3rd right now. But Chris Richard found himself, losing a lot of ground, but back here up at the front here, last pit on 88 with everybody else. Chris Stouffer was on 89, trying to walk away from these guys. He's got a little over a half a second now with 11 laps remaining.
Yeah, this race far from over, but Stouffer doing a great job out there as he's starting to stretch out that lead. Looks like everybody finally getting a single file racing here from 2nd back to 9th. You got another 1.2 seconds back here to 10th place, and that is Scott Bolster. But we're looking right now at 13th, 14th, and 15th. That is the 19 of Japs, the 5 of Gomes, and the 55 of Jeremy Little, as these guys do battle just outside the top 10. And a few of these guys, I think actually all 3 of them have certainly had a rough race and getting involved in some incidents, but making their way back up here. We've seen the 78 up there and running pretty well earlier in the race, but now you see some damage on the outside of that thing. Got it fixed up as much as possible, but kind of marred back here in 19th. But What a race up here as the 76 gets into the wall and everybody just finding a way around him and not causing any incidents. It's going to bring some more players up into the mix, though, as now we got second all the way back to 12th that you can throw a blanket over.
And Scott Bolster looking to take advantage of these guys fighting real hard here as the 76 got in the wall. So the 45 of Scott's going to look to the inside of the 76, but it looks like Lesh is going to be out on the outside there as these guys continue. Now,
the 8 of Hurd and the 79 of Colgan may have a little strategy going on here as they have grouped up together. They have run down Stouffer, was almost a 0.7 of a second lead, down to 0.2 right now. These newer tires may have finally come to life and they are all over the back of that 25. Look out, because here comes the 79 of Colgan bringing along the 8 of Hurd, and they want to try and maybe make this a 2-truck race, get around the 25 and battle this thing out. We're under 10 laps to go. Now at the line, we are down to 7, and it's a 3-truck breakaway as they got a 1.5-second gap between them and 4th place Eric Jeffers. Battle for the lead. Colgan goes to the inside, gets a great run through the corner, but the 25 of Stouffer still fighting hard on the outside.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to fend off 2 trucks at once, but that outside is able to keep the momentum going there for Chris as they continue to knock these laps off. We're about to finish up lap 111 of 117 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and these guys are just putting on this one heck of a show here. Chris Stouffer up 6 spots, Robert Colgan up 22 spots from the start, Joe Hurd up 9. These guys looking to take 1, 2, 3 as the 79 looks to the inside of the 25.
To the inside for Colgan, still can't get that run off the corner, but now it's going to open up the outside for the 8 of Hurd, but looks like he's going to let the 79 fall back into place. This little bit of battling is slowly letting Jeffers close back in as it's now 1.3 seconds, but the 79 now goes to the outside trying to make that work, trying to get their run, going to dive down to the inside. Big move there. Has not much room between him and the 8 truck of Hurd, but again the 79 diving down to the bottom, just can't get enough of a run, but the 8 gonna just about get into the back of the 25. Man, that was close, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's close. He just got up on a bumper, had to lift off that throttle just a little bit. It might allow the 79, well, it has its nose out front, now the 8 can close back in on the 79, and hopefully they can both get by the 25.
But that 25 of Stouffer just getting a great run on the outside, but it seems like right now this is the best run that the 79 has, but just a really good run on the outside once again from Stouffer. And it's going to take just some absolute driving by Colgan or Hurd at this point to try and get around that 25 as they're both dancing around back and forth. And again, don't count out Jeffers. Only 1 second behind now as him and Gherkin are on the move. They threw the lure in the water and they're trying to reel it back in here and snag a win yet as these 3 are doing battle. We've got 3 to go at Atlanta.
Anything can happen here in 3 laps. Yeah, these guys battling definitely allowed Eric Jeffers to start reeling these guys back in as they're only 1 second back. Grady Gherkin, don't count him out as he's right behind Jeffers. But Chris Stouffer continues to lead these guys around this track on lap 89 into the lap tires, where Robert Colgan and Joe Hurd have a little fresher tires, but might have burned them off trying to get around them as they kind of seem to be hung up here. Only a few more laps to go as they complete lap 115. 2 more laps to go.
Yeah, it looks like the 79, either just has burned off his tires or maybe just letting him cool off for a couple laps before he makes another run as tries to diamond the corner of 1 and 2 off just a little bit. Still cannot get underneath the 25. And we got some cars back and forth. The 28 of Bouchard making a great save there as him and the 51 getting together. It's going to bring the rest of the field into play behind them as they do battle, but out at front in the front, we've got the white flag in the air. 1 more to go for Chris Stouffer. What can Robert Colgan do on this last lap? Will we see any kind of drama here unfold as he is down to the bottom again, trying to get as much power down? Still cannot complete that pass, can't get along the inside, and it's going to be 1 more corner. And Stouffer looking to get this thing done. The 79 trying to dig hard, sending it hard off the corner, trying to get to the inside, but it's going to be Chris Stouffer to the win at Atlanta. Robert Colgan in second. Unbelievable strategy paying off for him. Hurd, same thing, finishing in third place. And then Jeffers, Gherkin finishing out your top 5. Greathouse, Bouchard, Lesh, Spencer, and Bolster finishing out your top 10. And I mean, we may have had a flurry of cautions in the middle of that race, Jimmy, but strategy absolutely paid off for second and third.
Yeah, that strategy paid off as they were able to stay out a little bit longer, you know, on that one run, and just kind of fell in their lap of being able to have the fresher tires. Were they the fastest truck tonight? No, but did they have a great strategy? I believe so. You know, so hats off to Robert Colgan, Joe Hurd for making it work. Robert Colgan, 22 spots, biggest move of the night, finished in second. Joe Hurd up 9 spots. Chris Stouffer, no slouch himself, up 6 spots. A couple of the big movers. Chris Spencer in 9th was up 14 spots. Cal Gomes up 15 spots in 11th. And Mark Lewis also back in 19th was up 9 spots. But we'll get down here as we get the guys in the booth ready for some interviews. Let me turn down the race trucks just a little bit as somebody blows their motor having fun. And we'll pull up the whole roster here of the results and go give a quick rundown. So again, here at Atlanta with the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series from UCRL, sitting on or finishing in first will be Chris Stouffer, then Robert Colgan in second, Joe Hurd in third, Jarek Jeffers in fourth, Grady Gherkin in fifth, Matthew Greathouse in sixth, Chris Bouchard in seventh, Jake Lesh in eighth, Christopher Spencer in ninth, Scott Bolster in 10th, Cal Gomes in 11th, Travis Bennett in 12th, Kyle Bartles in 13th, Jeremy Little in 14th, Jasper Crawford in 15th, Tony Japs in 16th, Tim Glass in 17th, 18 is Matt Foster, and 19th, Mark Lewis, Jerry Weston 20th, Felipe Ramos, we didn't talk much about tonight, but he finishes in 21st. Oh, we did talk about a little bit that 37. He just had a little bit of trouble. TJ Tobias finished in 22nd. Tyler Letchworth back at 23rd. Peter Parker, not a great night tonight, buddy. Better luck next time. 40 laps down, finishing in 24th. John Williams in the 57. Finishing in 25th. Riley Burr in 26th. Justin Kirby in 27th. Andrew Ratcliffe having troubles early in that number 48. Lowe's Machine in 28, and Brent Kirby sitting in 29. So great race tonight, Carl. Great finish. I can't wait to hear from the drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth noting that I didn't notice it at first, but the 8 and 79 were driving like teammates because they were teammates. They're both in Elite Motorsports for this series, so not a shocker to see them working together at the end. But Jimmy, we will go ahead and start these interviews, and why don't you go ahead and take our third place finisher here, the number 8, Joe Hurd.
Hey, Joe, it's Jim and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear.
Hey, Joe, at the end there, you and your teammate Robert had one heck of a pit strategy workout in your benefit, as you guys were some of the cars with the best tires at the end of the race, allowing you to get this third place finish. I mean, it was a little hectic there throughout most of the race, but you happened to survive all that. How about you give us a little rundown from your side?
Yeah, I was trying to help Robert out, and it was working well, but then we were really pushing it, and then all of a sudden the truck got super tight off of, I think it was 4, and just that little bit of damage took me out, but it was a blast, man. I mean, shout out to Chris for getting that win, but I wish it was me or Robert to win that, but solid second and third place finish, so but can't be more happier than that, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing like being able to finish on a podium with a bunch of elite drivers that UCRL seems to have here, putting on a great show, you know, and overcome, you know, the looseness of the truck, the tire wear, and the gas burn, coming in some green flag pit stops, and just having a great strategy overall to finish your night off in third. So again, congratulations, and I'd like to give you a little bit of time to give some shout outs to anybody out there that you might wish to.
Yeah, so I think my older brother John is actually watching this, so shout out to you, buddy. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry we couldn't bring a win, but shout out to you guys for broadcasting this, and shout out to obviously Chris and Robert for an exciting finish there, and hope you guys enjoyed it.
All right, Joe. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week, as I believe you guys are at. What the heck you guys? You guys go to Rockingham.
Sounds good. Love it.
All right, we'll see you next week, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that your third place finisher, the 8 of Joe Hurd. Now we'll bring in our second place finisher, the 79 of Robert Colgan. And Robert, I got to say, after the first 2 races of the season, you're averaging 23rd position, finishing 25th and 21st in the first 2 races. You qualified tonight here in 24th, so yeah, no brainer. You're in the top 3, right?
Daytona, it's poker. I mean, it's literally, it's luck of the draw. It's playing the lottery. Homestead, the setup was it was loose, but it got real tight, and I got screwed up. Some net code played into that. We finally came. I was excited whenever I heard how loose the setup was. I love driving anything that's loose. I come from dirt, and we finally get something loose, and I think the real drivers showed tonight, the guys that could hold onto the loose cars.
Yeah, it certainly did, and there was a lot of guys that did struggle with the setup here tonight. But you and Joe had a good run there at the end, and really it was the strategy that gave you guys the chance to run this thing for the win, and put you guys up front. And it was really a 4-car battle, or at least it seemed like it, but then everybody else kind of got into the mix, and Stouffer able to get by you guys. But you gave Stouffer one heck of a run there at the end, and you gave him a couple shots in turn 1, but it looked like the high line was it had too much momentum coming off.
Yeah, 1 was a safer place. I think that I could get a slide job, and that was the safest place I could pass them. 3 and 4, I took a shot one time up on the outside. It felt a little tight to me, and it was starting to break loose, so I didn't want to wreck all of us. So I did everything I could to be clean. I probably could have been a little more aggressive, but I couldn't do that to him. He drove a heck of a race, and I'm just happy to finally be here. I mean, after having 2 rough starts, so it was pretty fun tonight.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a blast. I think with how loose some of you guys were getting, I'm still happier being in the booth here tonight, as it looked like it was certainly a handful. But great finish here in second place. Now you guys had to Rockingham, and do you feel like this second place here can maybe put a little jump start to the beginning of the season for you?
Yeah, I mean, once we start getting to smaller and smaller tracks, I think I'll be fine. I love to race the smaller tracks. I was surprised how good I did. The only reason I did decent is because of the loose setup. I suck on speedways and stuff. I mean, to me, that's not racing. We gotta be bumping and banging and tight corners. So the smaller we get, the better I'll feel. Just keep coming with them loose setups because I love them.
All right, well, sounds like a plan. Well, before we let you go and let you get back and celebrate with your teammate there in third place, anybody you want to give a shout out to or any thanks to?
We got Colgan Enterprise. That's my company. Off Axis Paint. They make some pretty sick paint designs. My teammates, Kyle Bartles, TJ DeBlasi, Joseph Hurd. We got 2 guys that they couldn't be on the team, but they still have fun with us. Tyler, don't know how to pronounce his last name, and Riley Burr. They're cool guys. Just a fun race, I think, tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great job finishing here in second, and hopefully this will just kind of, like I said, jumpstart your season, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Hey, thank you.
All right, that was the second place finisher, the 79 of Robert Colgan. Now, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and take our points leader coming in, our winner tonight, our in-race reporter, just he's everything right now. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey, Chris, it's Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, welcome back, buddy. What? I don't know. Does it get any more perfect than that? You had a great race. Putting that 25 machine, back in victory lane. You got the points lead. Just showing that this league that you're the guy to chase right now.
I guess so. I guess there's nowhere to go but down from here. Hopefully it doesn't start happening, but I'm just waiting for the bad luck to start, trickling in on me. Yeah, came to that last restart, and everybody was pitting. Those top three guys stayed out, and I just tried to get to the lead, tried to drive away. I drove my wheels off and tires off the car, and Robert gave me everything he had right there, and I don't think I could have held on for another 5 laps. I think he would have got around me. So I was glad when I saw that white flag, and I was even happier when I saw the checkered. I was hard-earned race, I will say.
Yeah, Robert and Joe are teammates, obviously, and they were doing everything possible to basically hook up and try to get around you, but you had just enough tire and enough speed in that truck tonight to wheel it around there and not let them get underneath you, as that high side worked really well for you at the end.
Yeah, that was my thought. I found out through the course of the race, it's really hard to pass on the inside, especially after the tires get warmed up. And I think we had just a long enough run there that he couldn't complete the pass on the low side. I was able to hold on to it on the high side, and I was able to hold on and come and talk to you guys, get into victory lane.
Yeah, we always like to see our in-race reporter and points leader up here in the booth. And next week you guys are off to Rockingham. So what are you? How are you feeling about next week?
Bittersweet. I like Rockingham. It's a fun track. It puts on a good show. It's just it's a short track, so anything can happen. And I just cross my fingers that I'll be there at the end, somewhere at the end, in the race at the end. Hopefully I can maintain the points lead and just come out of there as clean as possible.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to them tracks, short tracks, I stay away from because they're just not my thing. But you just do the best you can and hold on to your points lead, and hopefully don't bleed out on the short tracks. Take advantage of the tracks that you're good at, and as long as you do that, you have 17 more races this season to go, and it looks to be like a good one, as you got a lot of competition around you.
Oh, for sure. There's talented drivers throughout the field, and I think that showed tonight because there's all kinds of guys up front. A lot of movers, and a lot of good clean racing, especially around me. I can't complain about anyone. It's a good league that Scott put together here, and I'm enjoying racing here.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes all the drivers come back. I mean, you guys had 29 cars here, and hope to see 29 cars at the last race of the season. So again, congratulations. I'll give you some time to give some shout outs, and before we let you go to celebrate.
Again, thanks, wife and kids. Hi, honey, I love you. Thanks for letting me do this. And you guys up in the booth, thank you. Teammates on Full Throttle, for just being there, talking strategy and doing all that good stuff. And Scott for putting on the league. I appreciate it.
I will say we won't be able to pick you next week for the Universe Reporter, so you're going to have to do it on your own going forward here.
Well, dang it. I'll manage. I'll figure out a way.
Gotta find your way. You gotta find yourself back up here on your own.
I guess you got the points lead by yourself, so you got that going for you. But we'd like to think that you won since we picked you for the win. But yeah, congrats on the win out there, buddy.
Well, thanks for picking me. Thanks for having me as an in-race reporter, and I'm glad I didn't get the commentator's curse then. And like I said, hopefully this good luck just I can keep riding it throughout the season. It's still early, like there's a lot of racing left, so anything happen.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for joining us throughout the race, and makes it nice to cap it off and finish with the win here at the end. So congrats one more time, and we'll let you go celebrate with the team.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was your winner here tonight, the 25 of Christopher. And, normally when we get a little bit of a, cautions breeding cautions. It ends up turning into a rough race, and sometimes it provides a good green white checkered run at the end. These guys didn't exactly have that. They had some more laps to run than that, and it took every bit of that for Christopher to make his way back to the front, get to the lead, stay ahead of Robert Colgan, get this thing done. But absolute battle there at the end.
Yeah, and it's so much fun to watch. It's almost like racing yourself. You get edgy. You probably hear it in our voices how excited we get just to call these guys and see these big moves. And hopefully it entertains everybody out there. And if you seriously like what you're seeing, as we continue to cover these guys, please give us that thumbs up. Give us that subscribe as we're trying to reach our goal by the end of the year of at least 300. If not more, it'd be great. But we'll just stick with our 300 goal for now as we're closing in on the year, and we're kind of a small time unit that just began. So we look forward to doing this for long time to come, and hopefully UCRL's part of it.
Yeah, it certainly, again, helps when you have some great leagues to broadcast. I mean, we can only do so much up here. There needs to be some great action on the track, and these guys are certainly providing it. Getting to getting in the brunt of not the brunt of the schedule, but the brunt of the beginning of the season here, as we start getting smaller and smaller on the track, starting at Daytona. Then we had the mile and a half of Miami Homestead and Atlanta. Now we go to only 1 mile at Rockingham, and then earmuffs, Jimmy, we go to a short track of Myrtle Beach. So it gets smaller and smaller before we get back up to the 6th race of the season being at Auto Club. So it's going to get interesting, and you're starting to see, like Robert Colgan said, you're starting to see some of the drivers find their way to the front, and guys that can really wheel it at the front. And no surprise that two of the guys that were up there, Christopher, your winner, Eric Jeffers, 2nd place in points coming in, finishes in 4th. So those guys are still showing their early season muscle here, but hopefully for Robert Colgan and Joe Hurd, this kind of jumpstarts the season for them a little bit. Hurd having a decent finish last week with a 7th place, but now coming back with a 3rd here is pretty good. But that is going to do it for myself and Jimmy and CRN here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the track.
Peace.